Is this Canon R6 Mark III suitable for wildlife photography and videography? Find out on this video. All right, well, we got a pretty easy subject here, a bald eagle, and someone left some salmon scraps out. So it's pretty kind of boring in a sense because they're just sitting here eating. Some magpies are eating them too. So when it comes to testing out this Canon R6 Mark II, I'm finding feels really good, really similar to the R5 and the R1. Button layout's really nice. Quality is really nice. Autofocus is really fast and it works really good. It's really accurate. In the future, I'll do a complete wildlife photography setting setup. But yeah, I'll just try to capture as much footage as I can. I hope you guys had a nice Thanksgiving. And don't forget, I'm doing that giveaway. There's a link in the description to the giveaway, so make sure you enter that. If you guys want to learn about wildlife photography or videography, how to shoot it or edit it in Adobe Lightroom, Photoshop, or Premiere Pro, check out my masterclass. If you guys get the masterclass, there is a $150 off or $299 total lifetime price. And when you get it, I'll email you a code. You'll get 100 extra entries into the Canon R6 Mark III giveaway. I'm gonna try to find this little ermine later and see how it goes with that. So let's just see what we can film today. All right, so I kind of ran into what I'd call a minor issue, and it's really nothing against this camera in particular. A lot of cameras would have a trouble focusing on a small bird that's got no real distinctive color or features in these cottonwoods here, these dead branches. It's pretty hard to even pick out just by your own natural eyes. Belted kingfisher. I got my camera on here, and for photo mode, it's pretty easy. You'll see when I set up my camera and I do my setup video, I have my eye focus on the star button and the spot focus on the AF on button. So I can kind of really get something like this in focus because it's pretty hard. And you guys know, as a wildlife photographer, or if you don't know, it's really challenging for a camera to just use its automatic focus to pick that up and expect to know what it's looking for. There's no distinctive features that stand out. It all blends together, especially with these branches in the foreground and background. It is a challenging thing, but the R6 Mark III doesn't get a special check mark or whatever because it's pretty similar to other cameras. Make sure you set your camera to wildlife or people, whatever you're doing. I noticed if you have it on auto, it's not as good. If you pick the subject you're shooting, it's definitely really good. So if I am shooting my family or something and I still have it set on animals, sometimes it looks for something else. So I have to make sure I switch back to the people autofocus. When we're in video mode, we have it set up a little bit differently on the far right next to the star. And you press that button, you switch to a spot focus, and then I have it set up so AF on, you can manually focus on what you want to spot. But what I found is if it drifts off a little bit, it's gonna automatically still kind of continuously try to focus on stuff in video mode. So what you want to do is use the star button to pause the servo AF, and that way you can pause it and then manually focus, or not manually focus, but manually focus with the spot focus button. And then, oh, Mr. Ermine's back. I just saw him running. We're gonna go photograph an ermine here in a second. The star button, you pause the focus, and then it won't drift off on you. So it's really nice on a subject that's standing still. Let's go try to get this ermine. He's gonna be hard. Maybe I'll try, all right, I'll try to use the monitor. I'll try. Where? That's what he does. Hey, come on, focus on him. Hi, buddy. He came right to me. I told you he was here. All right, well, it's a few hours later, and I actually had a pretty decent day. I'm back at that spot where I found that ermine, and well, I mean, I've been photographing this thing for over a year now, but I just got a nice encounter with them for a second on the bottom here, and I got like a little bit of reflection. I think it's in focus. Speaking of focusing, I don't know how I feel just yet on this R6 III. It's just day one. Now when it comes to wildlife, I know a lot of wildlife photographers, including myself, don't like the video switch on the left. I have just kind of just been trying to get used to just quickly, like just getting, I have to put the camera down, flick it over real quick, and lose focus. That's the biggest thing about the R5 and the R1, and I've talked about it 100 times now. The cameras that have the LCD screen, you can set custom mode 3 video settings to record while you're in photo mode. So you can get your 4K 120 with C-Log 2 or just whatever settings you want, and you know it's going to be them every time. If you're in photo mode and you're photographing something and it's in focus, it's going to stay in focus when you hit record on those cameras. On this, since I manually have to switch to video mode, it's just been changing autofocus on me. So I'm not really liking that. There are situations in wildlife where you have all the time in the world to change the settings and dial them in. But like this guy here, I mean, I'm only getting 1 second encounters at a time. And you just literally cannot. One of the things that's nice about being close to the rocks is if I see it and it's close, I can get a nice bokeh, especially with a 400 2.8. Well, the bad thing is I don't have the best angle in peripheral vision. And usually that's the best way I can spot an ermine, is just kind of doing something and I just see it in my peripheral vision, because it really shines on this white ermine on these black rocks. So I don't know. I'm just gonna try to hang out for a little bit. There he is. Hey, buddy. Hi, buddy. Hi. Oh, I just got some nice photos. Just like that. Let's go to get some video. Look, there he is in the reflection. Hi. They are probably the hardest animals to photograph, and even harder to video. I am having issues having it track this thing. And I don't blame it. It's really fast. But I was messing with some settings and then it ran right towards me. I had the wrong focus setting on. I was trying something new and it wasn't possible. Like, I think it's best to leave it on the full width of the frame. The thing bounces around. As soon as it leaves that, it takes it out of focus. And yeah, it was pretty challenging to focus. So I know I should use a tripod for wildlife videography, and I do for a lot of things. This thing is impossible, especially on this uneven rocks and terrain, unless you sit up in one spot and get it to keep coming back towards you. So that's why I like to move around and shoot handheld. Good photographic days. I gotta say, the best feature about this, especially if you're coming from an older R6 Mark II or maybe even R7, this right here, memory card slot, having a CF Express Type B is the best thing, because you can finally take advantage of the high frame rate. 40 frames per second is really nice on a camera like this, and you might be able to hit it for like a split second with a regular SD card, but with the CF Express you have much more movement there, and it doesn't buffer as long. It's really nice. I didn't even hit the buffer once, which is really nice and refreshing about the R6 series. This camera is made at the end of 2025, and any camera you buy in the last 5 years, you know, whether it's like original Canon R5 or an R1 or R3, or if you're on Nikon like a Z6, so you have to understand that we are just kind of like splitting hairs when it comes to what is the absolute best. And you know, I've been shooting with the Canon R1 since earlier this year, and I've had the R5 Mark II since it came out. Quickly, I'll just say I'm going to make a comparison between all three of these because they are all the top of the line cameras today, and I don't want to make too many like comparisons because that'll kind of spoil the video. But you know, this camera is $2,800. The R5 is $4,300 when I bought it, but now you can get it for $4,000. So if you combine all of those prices right there, you'll get what the R1 is. So obviously R1 is going to be the best in terms of some things, but if you're a wildlife photographer, you probably want higher megapixels, and R6 III is kind of the perfect mix between the R5 II and the R1. So right away you'll notice the R6 has the 32 megapixel sensor. It really is a nice in between, because when you have a smaller sensor, you can push the ISO limits. So real quick, let's just do this is like the quickest comparison I'll do. R1, 24 megapixels. Yes, it's the top of the line camera, and just because it's 24 megapixels, it's still a powerhouse. You're going to get the best low light performance here. R5 Mark II at the high end, this is 45 megapixels. You can do some extreme cropping with this, but with higher ISOs, which we often push in wildlife, it's not that hard with shooting at higher shutter speeds in sometimes darker environments or low light. It's going to give you the most cropping ability, because that 45 megapixels is really nice, and that's where the R6 comes in. I can confidently say ISO wise, I would shoot this between 12,000 and 16,000. The R6 Mark III, you know, 25,000 is a little high. 20,000 you can kind of like, they're usable, don't be wrong. I shot at 64,000, and I mean, I would use the photo if it was like an award-winning situation or something. I would use what the 64,000 ISO produces. It's not that great, but it's usable. And then the R1 is just I mean, 32,000 ISO. You don't even need to denoise that. Like, that's really nice. Like, you shoot 40,000 ISO, I'm pretty okay with the R1. 51,000, all these cameras, I mean, like I said, you get some shots, they're not the best. And the R5 Mark II, honestly, like, there are some situations where like 25,000 ISO or 16,000 ISO might work, but I don't like pushing it past 12,800 even with the denoise program. So having this around, you know, shooting this between 16 to 25,000 ISO, I am really comfortable with it. So let's talk about video for a second. If you look at other people's tests when it comes to the noise of video, 800 is the base ISO in C-Log 2, and 6400 it cleans up again. So high ISO video recording, I was really happy with. I was just walking around my own house, 25,000 ISO, and I was really happy with it. Is it as good as the R1? No, but you could buy 3 R6s for the price of the R1. Every camera today really does produce pretty good images, but the R6 Mark III, I'm really happy with it. I got some eagles here in a tree, and like you could see right here, you know, they were really nice. Everything's sharp. I mean, I'm also using a $12,000 lens. I'll probably make a video in the future, best lenses to pair with the R6 Mark III for basically all subjects and all budgets. And yeah, I just overall, it's a good camera. If it's gonna be your upgrade from the R6 Mark II, I'd say it's 100% worth it because of the CF Express Type B. If it's going to be an upgrade from a mirror or from a DSLR to a mirrorless camera, a million times worth it. Mirrorless cameras that a lot of people kind of overlook is, if you remember with DSLRs, if you bring the camera to your eye, you can't see what your exposure is unless you look at the exposure compensation at the bottom. With mirrorless, when you look through the viewfinder, you're getting what you see. Like, it is the best feature about mirrorless. So if you're someone that's thinking about upgrading to mirrorless, maybe an early Christmas present to yourself, 1000% worth it. You're gonna have some absolutely amazing results. Another feature all 3 of these cameras have that I do not shoot without anymore as a wildlife photographer is the pre-capture. Canon calls it the pre-continuous shooting. Basically, if you're holding your autofocus button halfway down or the shutter button halfway down and you take a photo, you're going to get the last half a second of photos. I think it only works in the high speed plus. When I was changing settings on the R6 Mark III, when I switched to just high speed, the pre-continuous shooting option wasn't available until I went to high plus. I don't know if like there was something else that changed when I switched, or if you just have to be in the high speed plus, and that's where you get your 40 frames per second. So every time you shoot, you're gonna get an extra 20 frames, which is kind of a lot, but it's not bad with a 32 megapixel sensor. But yeah, if you're having issues with that activating, make sure you're on 40 frames per second in the high speed plus mode. Now, I shoot electronic as a wildlife photographer because I like to keep everything silent. If you are worried about rolling shutter, I didn't have any issues with it, and I don't think you're going to have any issues with it because it's got a really good readout speed. So I wouldn't worry about it, to be honest, at all. But if you don't want to deal with it at all, or the thought of it, switch to mechanical and you won't have that issue. 40 frames per second on that ermine with the R6 III, and I didn't have any of that rolling shutter or warping. I've noticed with the R6 Mark III, the image stabilization, or IBIS, works really good. I shot most of my videos handheld. Handheld video works really good, especially when you shoot in 4K 120. You're gonna get everything 4 times slowed down on a 30 frames per second timeline. And I did test open gate a little bit. Now, it's not really something I plan on filming a lot with wildlife because a lot of times I want to have the ability to at least slow it down 2 times. But there were a few situations that I would have used it on, like this year, like filming these bears with mom and 3 cubs coming over the water towards me with the cubs on the mom's back. Like, it was an incredible moment, and having a open gate with 8 or 7K 30 frames per second, I would have got some nice stuff. I mean, I shot 8K 30 with the R5 II, but yeah, I would have been fine shooting that with 7K open gate 30, and you might even capture some new detail with that extra bit of room that you have. When it comes to shooting with this camera, it's really comfortable, and like I said in my last video, I'm not sure if it's just a new camera feel or if the grip is just overall better on the R6 Mark III, but if the grip feels really nice, it's really a nice, pleasant camera to shoot, even with a big, huge lens like this. I love where the buttons sit on my Canon cameras, but from the R1 to the R5 II to the R6 Mark III to the R6 Mark II, R6, R7, I've used all those cameras, and I just love the way Canon cameras feel. in my hands, and ergonomically I like it, no complaints. I have like average size hands, don't have huge hands, but I don't have really small baby hands. But everyone I've talked to, I've never heard anyone complain about the feel of a Canon camera. I would stand outside in the rain with this for at least an hour. The R1's probably the most like weather sealed camera of them all, as it is a $6,700 flagship. But I mean, I've shot the R5 Mark II in the rain for a few hours. If you do plan on being outside for more than an hour in the rain, probably doesn't hurt to get a shield, especially if you're using like these electronic hot shoes or something. But, or not a shield, but like a cover, a rain cover for it. But I've shot in the rain for hours with my Canon cameras and haven't had any issues. So I would trust this as well. But I do got to be careful because remember, I am giving this camera away. Link is in the description. I will be giving away when I hit 10,000 subscribers on YouTube. So make sure you're subscribed to this channel below. And if you want to earn an extra 100 credits and you're looking to... And if you want to earn an extra 100 entries to win this camera, and you're a wildlife photographer or a wildlife videographer, or you're looking to improve on that, or you're looking to become one, I do have a wildlife masterclass. There's a link in the description for that. A lot of info in there for you. And if you use the code HOLIDAY299 at checkout, you'll get $150 off, and you'll get the wildlife masterclass for $299 or $299 US. And then I'll email you a secret code so you can type it in on the R6 Mark III giveaway, and you'll get 100 extra entries into that contest. So let's find out if this camera is for you. Yes, it is. I don't care if you have the R5, or I'm sorry, the R1 and the R5, or you have either of those cameras and you're looking to add a second body. R6 Mark III is definitely a camera I would add to my camera bag, simply because of this one feature right here, the CF Express Type B. I think it's an essential tool for a wildlife photographer, and if you need a second camera body and you want to stay full frame, I would highly recommend the R6 Mark III. Whether you shoot wildlife, whether you shoot sports, if you shoot weddings, if you shoot portraits, if you shoot cars, if you shoot anything, the R6 Mark III has all of the features that the new cameras have, like the R1 and the R5 II. You'll get everything you need, except for that eye tracking. Like I said, I did have a little bit of issues, but I think it's more of a kind of user day one. Tried using my monitor, and when you connect these monitors to your camera, and then I'm trying to like film wildlife, I can't use the viewfinder unless I unplug the monitor from the camera, which is really frustrating. So, you know, if you need to photograph wildlife, I highly recommend not using a monitor, because it's really nice to use the viewfinder. Things, especially the things that make you go like this, like all the time, or up and down, or left and right. Like, using a viewfinder is so much better than a monitor. If you're kind of perched up somewhere, monitor's nice once you're set up, if you know you're going to stay in one spot on a tripod. Catch you guys in the next one. Go enter that contest, subscribe to the channel. Bye. $2,800 price tag is pretty nice too.